Assalamualaikum. Today we have again new books to announce, and let's get started. Our first title is from Nawa Books, Man and Allah's Justice on Earth. Nawa Books is proving to be a powerhouse in local publishing. The first book that they did this year was Al-Wafi, and this is the second book. And this is a translation of Sheikh Ramadan Abuti's book on the concept of justice in the world. The next book is Susan Abulhawa's book that follows on from Mornings in Janine and The Blue Between Sky and Water. All her books are about the Palestinian experience, and this one is no different. And this book won the Palestine Book Award in 2020 and is published by Blooms. This is an interesting book. It's called Decoding Boys. It's by Dr. Cara Natterson. It is. I first heard about this book in an interview she did in The Atlantic. She was talking about for boys undergoing puberty, as serum testosterone goes up, sentence length goes down. Parents, I think, would agree with that idea, and it talks about how boys at that age shut themselves out from everyone else, but it's important to draw them out. Otherwise they will lose the ability to communicate well when they become men. So this is an important book, Decoding Boys. Politics of Vulnerability, Asma Uddin's second book. Her first book, When Islam is Not a Religion, and this is the second book. Her first book was about how Islam in some quarters in the US is not considered a religion, and therefore not protected under the US Constitution, under religious freedoms. But this new book looks at the root causes of this phenomenon. I listened to her podcast in Renovatio with Jana Dali. It is an illuminating podcast, so I encourage you all to listen to that, and also check out this book. What Strange Paradise by Omar Akkad. This is his second novel. He is an Egyptian-born novelist, and he now lives in Canada. His first book is American War. It's about a civil war somewhere in the future, so it's a bit dystopian. His current book is also slightly dystopian, but it's closer to our time. It's talking about the migrant crisis, but it looks at it. Its message is about universal humanism. We're all in the same boat, migrant or not. We Have a Dream. It seems that young people are showing the way when it comes to climate activism, and we know about Greta Thunberg, but this is Mya-Rose Craig, and she's a Bangladeshi British young woman, and this book talks about environmental conservation by different people throughout the world, especially by indigenous people throughout the world. What is interesting is that it focuses on local action, and it focuses on indigenous values. A lot of the discourse today is about global action, but it's important to understand the power of local action, and especially for a country like Singapore, where we are a global city. And it is also interesting to see that this is all about young adults, or some of them are young children, because young children and young adults have a high degree of anxiety about the environment, and with good reason. So this book shows the way how local efforts can be tangible and can make a difference. So We Have a Dream. Kingdom of God. This is the second book of illustrated tafsir by Asim Khan. This book is illustrated with charts and graphs and pie charts, so it's good for visual learners. This is on Surah al-Mulk. Surah al-Mulk is, as you know, is encouraged by the Prophet ﷺ for us to read every day and also to memorize. The next work is also a second book by an author, and also the second book for our new arrivals from Cube. This is by Sayeda Habib. Her first book was Discover the Best in You. So this is discover the best in your relationships. It talks about sibling relationships, marriage. It even talks about divorcing with mercy and with grace. It talks about how stress frames a lot of modern relationships. So this is an important one by her. Taliban Revival was published 7 years ago, but it's new to us. This was written way before the events of today. So it reveals the groundswell of Taliban power even during the American occupation. So this is published by Yale University Press. Some other books that just came in back into stock is, of course, the Clear Qur'ans. All the editions are back in stock. What we also have is Aristotle on his ethics, and Benedict Anderson's Imagine Communities. It's about nationalism. Thank you. And don't forget, on Monday we have a session with Hidayah Amin. She'll be answering our questions about her book about the last Malay schools, Tun Sri Lanang and Sang Nila Utama. Have a good day.